Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 13 preview between the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Texans.
When you look at the Texans offense, and one thing that makes these guys efficient is that they're very multiple in their attack. They got everyone involved last week versus Detroit. Justin Forsett, I know everyone wants to talk about the big play, the missed call, but quietly the young man did a great job in providing that spark out of the backfield, filling in for an injured Ben Tate. So he did a great job in the backfield, helping spell Arian Foster at times and kept that running game on pace. Owen Daniels in the multiple amount of tight ends that they have with Garrett Graham, the fullback James Casey, the former tight end. So they get everybody involved in the offense, and that makes it tough for a defense to handle. So attacking Tennessee, they're just going to have to continue that multiplicity in their offensive attack. But once again, defensively, they struggled versus a team like the Packers, like the Lions, teams that love to run 3, 4, and sometimes empty sets. So let's go inside the lab to see how they can better prepare themselves in the secondary versus a team like the Titans that love to use multiple formations.
Last week versus the Detroit Lions, the Houston Texans struggled with communicating defensively in the passing game. They have to do a better job this week versus Tennessee, who can spread out a defense and attack downfield. They have the weapons to do so. Here's how they can better communicate defensively amongst three guys, the two inside backers and the strong safety, because usually your edge rushers are going upfield. We have three different routes drawn up. Let's say they want to bring the back down the seam and the tight end is running down the seam. These two inside backers are taking a reverse out step and walling off and riding the inside of these guys, threatening the seam. So that way they can stay with their eyes facing the quarterback and their backs to the wide receivers. The strong safety is going to ride this outside route till he sees the running back break the line of scrimmage. Then he's going to flatten down, beeline straight to the back to possibly make the tackle right here. In this play, we had the tight end coming down and in. We have the back going out to flares both backs. Here's how they're going to read it. The inside backer to the right, the weak side inside backer, the weak inside backer is going to take his drop, see the guy going to the flat once he crosses the line of scrimmage, and breakneck speed to that guy right there. And you're going to see this right inside backer, the strong inside backer, is going to step in, reverse out, and then turn around, reverse pivot, wall off the in route. That's his job right there, because usually you're going to have a free safety that's going to try to squeeze this as well. Strong safety is going to drop, see the guy crossing the line of scrimmage, beeline to the running back in the flat. Now you also look at this route. Let's say they want to bring the back down and over, almost like an arrow route, but bringing him across, like a back coming across on the drag and bring the in route. What's going to happen? This is where the communication has to happen. The inside backer to the strong side knows, okay, I can wall off until I see somebody threaten my area. Then I got to buzz back down and in this right here. And this guy, the left inside backer, is going to make sure he's taking his drop. Nothing threatens his zone, as his back is going to cut in. So he knows he immediately has the guy underneath to squeeze this route. And the strong safety still has the responsibility of the guy threatening his zone. So a lot of it is all about communicating defensively. If they can do that, they can do a better job this week versus a team that will go to 3 and 4 and sometimes 5 wide receiver sets, putting them in better situations to make plays on the football.
Now let's move over to the Titans in this ball game. And when you're facing an offense like the Houston Texans, you're going to need a valiant effort from every level of your defense. That means defensive tackles getting penetration on the running game, and defensive end setting the edge. Linebackers filling the gaps, playing down the hill, stopping the run at or near the line of scrimmage. And in the secondary, you got to make sure you do not get caught looking in the backfield, because that's how the play action pass can do damage. So you look at some Derek Marks, Zach Brown, Jason McCourty, all guys at every level of their defense have to be effective in order for this team to play some great defense versus Houston. But all the focus this week will be on the offensive side of the football, as the Titans are replacing offensive coordinator Chris Palmer. So let's go inside the lab and look at this offense and look at Jake Locker and what they can do to get him into a passing groove early on versus the Texans.
All season long, we've talked about the Titans' ability to go 3 wide, 4, sometimes empty. Now you have Jake Locker back there, back as a starting quarterback, and what he brings to the table is that added mobility. He struggles with trying to read coverages on the fly and when things change in the middle of the play. So what you have to do to protect him you have to apply the KISS principle, which is keep it simply simple. And that's how you can have effectiveness versus an aggressive defense like the Houston Texans. The Titans have the personnel. They just got to be simple in their approach. And to help a young quarterback like Locker, you have to keep it simple. My suggestion, mirrored routes with one option. When we talk about mirrored routes, simple routes, you have the same routes on both sides. You can have your basic your smash concept where you have your tight end going to the corner. You have this guy stopping here, going to the corner. What that does, it keeps Locker's read simple. One, he can hit these two quick curls or hitches very easily, and if the protection allows itself, he can hit the flag route. He has a very strong enough arm to do so. And also, you can still run out your spread formation. You can still are able to get to the perimeter with Chris Johnson, and that's where he's going to have the hot read. You can give Chris Johnson the option. If you're going to fake it here, give him the option to run out in the flat, and that's another read. If you're going to have him run out into the flat, he can also, right here, make a decision and either curl it back in, dump off, or he can go straight up, dump off, or he can go out to the flat, dump off. You want to give him the option of having the flexibility to make a decision on the fly. And if everything is covered for Locker, remember, he has the speed and athleticism to take off or to bounce it out, to waggle out. You can call many different type of rollout plays for him, but you want to keep the routes mirrored. One, it allows him the chance to be successful throwing the football and getting that timing going. Then you can call more complex routes down the line. But initially, the first quarter, you got to keep it simple. You got to get him in a passing rhythm. And you have to keep it simply simple for Jake Locker to have a chance this week versus the Houston Texans.
X factor will be the pass defense for the Houston Texans. Was last week and versus the Packers an aberration, or is this the trend we're going to see moving forward? They got to improve. And you look at Tennessee's X factor, offensive coordinator Dewell Logans. Can he get these guys playing up to par and with some consistency? If so, then the Titans are going to be better moving forward for making his decision this late in the season. Here are some of my coaching points for both teams in this matchup. For Houston, you got to communicate better defensively, and you have to close the door on Chris Johnson. No cutback lanes are available. You got to shut him down, and you want to confuse Locker. A lot of zone blitzing to confuse the young quarterback into some bad decisions. For Tennessee, you got to get a rhythmic passing game going to get him into a groove early, and I believe the inside trap game can be effective versus this Texans defense. So look for a lot of inside running versus Houston, and you have to keep Watt entertained, whether it be double teams, tell him a story, do something to keep him entertained and out of the backfield. I like the Texans in this ball game. When you look at their offense, they're well balanced. Doesn't matter who's back there in the backfield or on the flanks, they all operate well in Kubiak's system. Now defensively, they will put Locker in some uncomfortable situations with some zone blitzing and also J.J. Watt going against that offensive line. So I think this will be a game that Houston gets back on track and look more dominant, like one of the more dominant teams in the AFC that we've seen throughout the course of the season. And I want to give a huge shout out to Texans fan forums and Titan fan forums for always showing football game plan support.